Okay, Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for joining our Introduction to Volunteering at AARP Massachusetts. We're really happy that you've made volunteering one of your priorities for 2025. I think it's a great way to give back to your local community and to the state, and hopefully you'll find some programs that we offer here that connect with your skills and your passions. We're going to start today with a video so that you can hear directly from our volunteers who have engaged in our different programs. And then I'm also joined here today by Donna and Dennis, who are two of our very active volunteers who are going to speak a little bit as well about the programs that they've been involved with. So let me get the video up for you. There we go.
Hello, I'm Sandra Harris, State President of AARP Massachusetts. Welcome to the organization. We're so glad you're interested in volunteering with AARP. I know it's a rewarding experience because I am a volunteer, and I hope you are ready to turn a lifetime of experience into the experience of a lifetime, just as I have. AARP's story began back in 1950 when retired educator Ethel Percy Andrews found a retired teacher living in a chicken coop because she could not afford anything else. Ethel was a fighter and she was committed to serving those around her. She first got angry, then she got organized and went on to found AARP, setting in motion a new vision for aging that continues to inspire AARP's work today. Dr. Andrews lived her life by the motto, to serve and not be served, which remains AARP motto today. As an AARP volunteer, you will have opportunities to take on new challenges to help fight for those issues that matter most for people over 65, to be creative, meet new people, create connections, and have fun doing so. Here in Massachusetts, AARP has many volunteer opportunities that you can get involved in.
Hello, I'm Linda McLaughlin, and I'm from Marblehead, Massachusetts. I'm an AARP volunteer. I help by advocating with my elected officials. And often what I do can be pretty simple. It's just like sending an email or making a phone call to their office. And right now, the important things that AARP are working on are, of course, health security and financial stability, and always personal fulfillment and caregiving. I hope that you might be interested in becoming a volunteer. It's really easy. And the thing is, AARP staff are always there to help you, and they're great. There are many ways to help, to advocate for older Americans, both in your community and federally.
My name is Teresa Chaklos, and I am a member of AARP's Speakers Bureau. We give free, virtual, and in-person presentations on topics relevant to aging, such as Social Security, caregiving, fraud, and brain health. Last year, we presented at almost 100 venues across Massachusetts, including senior centers, councils on aging, and other organizations serving the age 50-plus population.
I'm Susan LaFrance. I'm a tabling volunteer. We give out AARP information relevant to people 50-plus and talk to people of all ages at events such as community festivals, free movies, resource fairs, and other events important to our community.
I'm Alice Diamond, and I'm a volunteer with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. We equip consumers with up-to-date knowledge to spot and avoid scams and point you in the right direction if you've been a victim. Here in Massachusetts, once a month, we hold Fraud Talk Tuesdays. We run down the latest scams and help you protect yourself from fraudsters.
Hi, my name is Bonetta, and I'm a volunteer with AARP Livable Communities. We're working hard to make communities great places to live for people of all ages. We review grant applications, talk to local organizations, and empower residents to advocate for changes that will make their communities even more livable.
I'm Jim Carney, and I'm a state and community service volunteer with AARP Massachusetts. I meet up with other volunteers once a month, and we help plan events for AARP members and the public. We also build relationships with other organizations in our community, as well as organize group service projects throughout the year.
Hi, my name is Dennis, and I'm a volunteer in a variety of programs with AARP Massachusetts, including the role that's called Volunteer Portal Champion. AARP maintains a very helpful online volunteer portal full of useful and timely information for all of our volunteers. The portal is also a place where volunteers can submit reimbursement requests for authorized expenses. Assistance with signing on and navigating the portal is available by simply emailing us to request a one-on-one volunteer portal session.
The AARP Massachusetts office is located at 1 Beacon Street in Boston, near the State House, and convenient to several T stations. Here's a list of our staff and contact information. Please feel free to reach out with your questions, comments, or concerns. There's a volunteer role for everyone at AARP Massachusetts. You can start small or jump right in, whether you prefer virtual engagements or in-person events, whether you have only 1 hour a month or 30 hours per month. At AARP Massachusetts, it's easy to make a difference in your community on your terms. Welcome aboard.
Polly, you're on mute.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, I appreciate that. So you got a little glimpse of the variety of programs that we offer at AARP Massachusetts. And we have, as I mentioned, our 2 volunteers, Donna and Dennis, who are going to go a little bit deeper into the programs. If you do have questions, with this size of a group, I think it will be better to put those into the chat. We also will be hanging around after at 12:30. So if you have more extensive questions that haven't been answered yet, please stick around if you're available after 12:30, and we'll stay on to answer your questions. So I am going to share our slides for you as well. And just move things around a little bit. Okay. How is that looking for everybody?
Good.
Great. Okay. So the video that you just saw was the host of the video is Sandra Harris. She was the volunteer state president who actually just finished her tenure as the state president. And we are welcoming, as of January 1st, we welcomed Jackie Cairo Williams, who is our volunteer state president. That is the highest level of a volunteer that we have in our organization. And we're really glad to begin working with her. And we have an organizational chart here as well, which goes into the detail of the different positions we have for staff. There are 10 of us on staff, 4 of us on outreach, and our outreach team is especially the ones that will work with you as a volunteer throughout the different programs that you might be interested in. Here's a picture of our lovely team that we took in the fall. And then Jackie and Jen, they offer office hours once a week. This is a new thing that they have come up with on Mondays from 2 to 3 p.m. on Zoom. So if you have questions about volunteering, if you have feedback about volunteering, or you'd like to just get to know them better, we invite you to join them on Zoom. And the link is available in our monthly newsletter. That's something that I send out once a month on the 1st of every month. It's a volunteer newsletter just about volunteering opportunities. So it's sort of your one-stop shopping for finding what we have available that month. Each year we choose state priorities, and that is a way for us to focus as a team. It doesn't mean that we won't be doing other initiatives, but it's sort of how we focus our attention as a state and as a team. This year for 2025, our three top priorities are caregiving, fraud, and livable communities, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And then we also have Social Security as a close runner-up as number 4. That's what we'll be focusing on this year. One of those initiatives, as I mentioned, is our Livable Communities program, which is run by Antron Watson, and we manage the age-friendly network, right? Currently, ways that you can volunteer in the Livable Communities arena is by joining our committee of Challenge Grant Committee members who are sifting through applications that have been submitted for people who are looking for funding to make their communities age friendly. So it's a great way to get involved, roll up your sleeves, see what different organizations in the community are offering and what they are applying for funds for new programming. I was part of it last year. I really enjoyed it. And so that's something that you can do right now. We're looking for people to help with that. We also have Andrus Awards once a year, which we offer, and you can nominate somebody in your community who excels in volunteering. That will open up later on in the year. And so we also have a committee that decides who the Andrus Award winning person will be. So that's something you can do later in the year. And then another example of ways that you can get involved in livable communities is by doing walk audits. You can learn how to conduct walk audits in your community so that your town, your city can be more age friendly. And moving on to advocacy, we are very happy to have Ryan Berard on the call today, who is part of our advocacy team. So Ryan, I'm going to hand it off to you to talk about our advocacy programs.
Thank you. Fabulous to see so many folks joining this afternoon. I'm Ryan Berard. I'm the Associate State Director for Advocacy in the state office here. And we've just begun the 2025-2026 state legislative session. So we're busy at work on the priorities that Polly mentioned. We will be filing bills related to supporting family caregivers, a bill to combat fraud that targets cryptocurrency ATMs, which scammers use to steal folks' hard-earned money, as well as a bill to make communities more livable and more walkable by addressing crosswalk signal timing. These are all in line with the office priorities for the year. Because everything we do, we try to integrate across departments, and it's an exciting time for us to be able to get these new pieces of legislation introduced and to get to work on them. We also do work on the federal side, which I'm sure folks are aware of course, focusing on Medicare and Social Security, and we do a lot of work on the local level as well. Anyone can take part in any of those activities, and if that's something that you're interested in and is part of your volunteer journey here at AARP, some of the ways that you can get involved are on the screen right now. You can become an e-activist, and you can actually scan that QR code right now, and I will put a link to the page as well, and that will bring you to our activist email signups. So those are emails that are specifically about any of the work that we're doing in the State House or in Congress. You can also text JOIN or join to 22777, and that's a text alert that you will get if there are any sort of emergency or urgent actions, such as contacting your legislators around a bill. We'll be hosting one webinar a month about the issues that we're going to be working on this year. And I will post a link to tomorrow's webinar, which takes place at 10 a.m., which goes over all of the major wins that we had in 24, as well as the issues and the priority areas. And when it comes to those issues, if there's one that you feel very strongly about and you want to become an advocate on caregiving or fraud prevention or livable communities, you can join one of our teams that are working specifically on those issues and shape a lot of the policy work and strategy that's going to go into getting those bills passed. So I will drop those links in the chat. And thank you so much, Polly, for giving me the time to talk this afternoon.
Yeah, of course. I also do just want to mention, Ryan and I just came sort of hot off the press from a meeting where we're discussing a lead volunteer role that we have in Worcester County, Congressional District 2. And so if you live in that area and you're looking for an advocacy related volunteer role, or if you're anywhere in the state and this interests you, we do have a lead position, which is sort of a connector that is going to help people in their region, right, in their backyard, get connected to all the different variety of programs that we have, whether it's a Speakers Bureau presentation or a fraud shred event that we might be doing. It's someone that likes to network, likes to connect people, and is interested in advocacy. So if that interests you as well, please reach out to us. At the end of today's presentation, you'll be receiving contact information for all of us. So don't feel like you have to jot all of this down. You'll also get the slides as well. All right, moving along. Now you get to hear a little bit more from our volunteers. You've heard a bit from staff already, so I invite Donna and Dennis to speak a little bit about tabling. And if you've been to Movies for Grownups, if you're attending today, you might have seen some of our tablers there. We table at a variety of events, and I will hand it over to Donna and Dennis to talk about that.
Thanks, Polly. I did tabling for Social Security. And what's good about the tabling is that not only did I get to meet a lot of people, provide a lot of information, but I learned a lot actually from looking at and talking back and forth to people. So it's a good way, an easy way to meet people, to be involved. Plus, I got a free ice cream cone out of it. So it was well worth it. Dennis?
Yeah, it's a very easy lift. I mean, we would never send you out there by yourself. You always go with a seasoned person. And like Donna says, it's a great way to meet other people and share the wide variety of information that AARP has available that supports the 50+ community.
I love that. I'm always amazed at the social networking that happens amongst our volunteers. It's really nice to see. And there are perks like ice cream, and we do have mileage reimbursement if you're going to an event for AARP. So there are some benefits as well. Speakers Bureau. Both Dennis and Donna are on our Speakers Bureau. So I will hand it off to you both again.
Well, I was a member of the Speakers Bureau before there was a Speakers Bureau about 10 years ago. It's a great opportunity if you have presentation skills and you're passionate about one of the topics that we present. It's a great way of getting involved. All the presentations are PowerPoints for all of them. They're already designed. We stick to the slides that we have, and the information that we provide for people attending these presentations is extremely valuable. I do primarily, well, only fraud, and I do also something called Fraud Talk Tuesdays, which is a webinar that we conduct the second Tuesday of every month from 12 to 12:30, where we talk about a specific scam, where our regular presentation is covering all types of scams and the kinds of behaviors that can lead to being victimized.
And let me just add to that. Dennis gave you a good sampling. Let me just add to that one of the good things about the Speakers Bureau is the fact that it's very flexible. If you join, it doesn't mean you have to do one every week for the whole year. You sign up for one that you're comfortable with when you can do it. There's a lot of help along the way. You have a training, you have a mentor, you watch somebody do it, you have a co-presenter. So it's a nice kind of slow, easy way to get in. And again, like all our things, you meet amazing people.
Yeah, I love that. And we do have trainings that are live, either live in person or live virtually twice a year in May and October, but you can also do it asynchronously on your own time by going onto our volunteer portal and watching the most recent video of a certification training. We also, if speaking is not your thing, we have availability on the administrative side to make those over 150 presentations happen. We need volunteer schedulers, and we always need more schedulers. So if you're more administrative minded, we would really love to have your support helping with the scheduling, and that involves communicating with host sites and communicating with the volunteer presenters and matching them to the presentations that they sign up for. So that's another role that we have.
I think that's important, Polly, too, because with all volunteer activities, you can be out in front or you can be behind the scenes. So whatever makes you comfortable, it can be a really good fit.
I love that. I love that. And Dennis, keep going with fraud, because I know you mentioned it a little bit, but I'd love for you to talk more about the group that we have.
Sure, fraud is always out there, and we we do presentations primarily at senior centers, assisted living communities, and those types of places. But we will go anywhere. I've done them for low vision groups. I've done them for different, actually for the Shriners. So anybody that requests a presentation for fraud, we will go out and do them for any of our presentations. So we also have something called a fraud team meeting once a month where we get together, all the fraud presenters, and we talk about how we can do more outreach to get more sessions scheduled. People sometimes say, well, I know a little bit about fraud. We all know a little bit about fraud, but sometimes we're amazed at what we don't know. And so we meet once a month. We, like we say, collaborate with community groups and any group that will
Yeah, Abby's
have
gonna
us
come
in.
over with George.
And then we do this thing called Fraud Talk Tuesdays. And we're always looking for volunteers to do either it's sort of an interviewee format, and we're looking for people that who will be the interviewer or the presenter, and the scripts are always provided for you.
Yeah, Dennis and the team make it really easy. So if you're interested in being part of a Fraud Talk Tuesday as a volunteer, you can ask the questions. You don't have to be a certified Speakers Bureau member to do that. And it's very exciting to see how the group has expanded over the last couple of months, looking to partner with organizations, attend other Shred events, and really get that message out there to help combat fraud in our communities throughout the state. So great work that they're doing. Then we have our volunteer network meetings, which we are meeting, I believe it's 5 times this year. It's basically every other month with a summer month off. And we have a Worcester volunteer network, and we have a Boston volunteer network. If you live outside of those parameters, you can certainly join. Those meetings are done hybrid as well, so you can join virtually. And our January meeting will be only hybrid. Typically when the months are colder and potential for ice and snow, we tend to do more virtual meetings. But then when the weather gets nice and we can be out and about, we'll offer lunch at those meetings and come together and discuss our plans. Dennis and well, especially Dennis, I would say, if you want to talk about the volunteer network meetings at all, your experience with them.
There's nothing like meeting people in person. Virtual is okay, but it's really great when we get together in person at the network meetings and share stories and our experiences over the last couple of months as volunteers.
Yeah, and the picture that you see is another one of the perks. We do an end of the year celebration for both of our groups. And so the Worcester one there is enjoying dinner, as is the Boston one after we went to a holiday performance. So it was really fun to get people together and celebrate what was accomplished in 2024. We also do days of service on 9/11, and so each group will also, each area will do a day of service in Boston, and we'll do a day of service in the Worcester area, and you're welcome to sign up for that. We might do a food pantry or a community garden. Each year it changes a little bit, but that's a nice way to sort of roll up your sleeves and do some service as well. We mentioned there are administrative roles, not only with the Speakers Bureau, but in our general volunteer program. We have administrative roles that we could use support with. Dennis, for example, also helps as a volunteer portal champion. He helps people get onto our volunteer portal, which is where we have a lot of our resources, and it has all of our events in the event calendar and things like that. So there's a variety of roles. And then each year we do a volunteer conference. We will have ours coming up in April this year. We're honing in on the date and the location, so we'll have that information to everybody soon. But Donna was actually part of the conference committee. Donna, if you want to speak to that a little bit, what it's like being on the committee and planning the event.
Sure. I did have experience in conference planning. So I volunteered, but I have to tell you, it is so well organized that you really don't need any experience in doing it. It meets once every other week, so it's not a heavy, heavy lift. And the day of the conference, you get there early, you get to set up, you get to meet over 200 people, you get to help pick the speakers. It's a really meaningful experience to further the volunteer experience. And again, like everything in AARP, it's very flexible. You do what you can do when you join something.
Thank you. Yeah, and we have already begun planning. The conference is right around the corner in April. So if that's something that interests you, we'd want to onboard you relatively soon to get involved with that. Speaking of onboarding, we have lots of trainings and support available, not only at our state office, but at the national office. Here we have a list, sort of an alphabetical list of the variety of options that are available, from DEI trainings to Zoom trainings to social media trainings. There's always something available for our volunteers to learn more and to grow professionally and personally as well. We follow this model of ladder of engagement, so we hope that you will choose something that's an easy entry point to start, maybe tabling at a Movies for Grown-ups, for example, something that is a lighter lift, and then you sort of move up the ladder and try things that are more robust and perhaps involve more time as a volunteer if you're able to, but you can always stay at the easy entry point as well if that's what your time and availability consists of. But we hope that you will stay with us and try different activities that we have. We've got lots of different opportunities available. Here are specific examples of ways that you can get involved over the next month. We have, as Ryan mentioned, we have 2 advocacy meetings coming up on the 9th and the 23rd. As Dennis mentioned, we have our Fraud Talk Tuesday, then we have our fraud team meeting. So, and then our volunteer network meeting on the 3rd Friday of every month of January. So that's another way to get involved. Again, you will get these slides, so you'll have all of this information available. The next most important step, if you haven't done it already, is to go to aarp.org/I want to volunteer. That gets you onto our portal. Then you would email me. Let me know you're on the portal and let me know which program interests you. If you're not totally sure, that's fine. We can mark you as a general volunteer, but if you know right from the start that you're interested in advocacy, we would label you as an advocacy volunteer and I would get you connected with Ryan right away so that you can be in the know of what's coming up on the advocacy side. And then I would send you the link to opt into our volunteer newsletter because that really is sort of the one-stop shopping place where you can see all things coming up for volunteering for that month. So I'm going to stop the share and we would love questions. We would love to hear from you about what interests you, about what you saw. I know it is 12:30, so if you have to hop off and head to something else, that is no problem. And I'm actually going to stop the recording so that